now it's set up for the final bout, and maybe the way it should be. Final Olympic spot up for grabs. Shawn Bunch and Coleman Scott. Best 2 out of 3 matches to decide which man will represent the United States in London. Scott won the first best 2 out of 3 periods. Bunch rallied to win the second best 2 out of 3 and send us here to this deciding best 2 out of 3 period scenario. Well, here we go. The warm-ups are off, the wrestlers on the mat. This will decide the 60-kilogram, 132-pound representative for the United States. Coleman Scott in blue, Shawn Bunch in red. And if there's one omen that might be favoring Coleman Scott, it's that he's wearing the blue. He hasn't lost in a blue singlet today. The only time he lost was when he was wearing red in the last round to Shawn Bunch. Here we go. Scott in blue, Bunch in red. First of 3 periods. Best 2 out of 3. The winner goes to London.
Scott's been using those change-of-level fakes all day to try to put Bunch off balance, allow him to penetrate, get into the legs, and potentially get a takedown. Bunch, as we said a little bit earlier, his key weapon has been the push-out.
See if Scott is aware of his spacing on the mat as we go on. Or Bunch has been able to push him towards the edge and then out to garner some key points so far. Almost a minute deep. And the signal from the official to pick it up a little bit. These two guys, so much on the line. Nobody really the aggressor here so far with so much at stake.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head right there. I think they're both kind of just feeling each other out, not wanting to make a mistake. But as this match continues, they'll start opening up a little. There, those feints by Scott now. Bunch almost is not reacting to him.
Scott trying for the signal. Bunch able to scoot through, try to counter back and push his man out. Didn't happen. Big time flurry there.
Scott did get to the leg, though. Almost had an opportunity. But the explosiveness and speed of Shawn Bunch able to counter him down. And it looks like we're going back to Lady Luck, and Bunch is wearing the red, so he will go over and draw for the color.
Tie-breaking proceedings. In a scoreless period, they'll go to the leg clinch. And the draw the color first. It's blue.
Again.
Coleman Scott has been involved in 5 of them today.
Yes, he won 3 and then lost 1.
But each time the color that's been drawn has been blue.
Yes, it has.
He was able to beat Reese Humphrey earlier on to start off this 3-man wrestle-off. Now he'll get to grab a leg of his choice against Shawn Bunch. If he can score in 30 seconds, he wins the period. If he doesn't, Bunch wins the period.
And Bunch does a good job, but can't stop the push-out.
Scott strikes first, gets the period win. 1 period away from a trip to London.
Thought Bunch might be able to turn his hips down. He didn't get lifted right away, but Scott adjusted nicely, just pushing for the out of bounds and finished strong.
Remember that happened before. The last match, Scott was able to strike first, Bunch able to come back, win periods 2 and 3 to send us to this 3rd and decisive overall match. 2 minutes on the clock, here we go.
And Scott was ready for him, shook hands and put a hand down right away so he couldn't do a quick dart shot.
Much like the first period here, not a lot going on at the outset. Sizing each other up.
Yeah, Bunch is waiting for the shot and trying to counter off of it. There it is. Scott in deep. And that's big points for Scott.
Coleman Scott with a 3-point throw. And the challenge brick coming in from Shawn Bunch's corner.
Not sure what they're looking for there. Boy, I'll tell you what, it was all Coleman Scott. Got into a nice single leg and then elevated, showed his power, picking him up and dumping him to his back. And the Oklahoma State corner, John Smith and Guerrero was screaming that could be 5 because he traveled hips over hip into danger.
And a look on
Yeah, you see it. That was all Coleman Scott. Question is, Smith was asking for 5. There you see that big amplitude throw.
Bunch's corner.
They're asking for 2.
Yeah, the jury's made its decision. We'll see what it is. And this, again, with so much on the line, is a huge call.
Now, the thing, too, is, Scott put him on his back. If they say Bunch got 2, oh, that's going to do it. They gave a 5 here, but that's not over.
Well, the review is 5-point throw.
Traveled hip over the top.
And the 5-point throw ends it, so they do look again. And the 5-point throw seals it, and the Olympic berth for Coleman Scott. Wow. So Bunch's corner requested the review, and they actually got burned because when they looked at the review, they realized that the throw was worth 5, and that ends it right there.
Yeah, the interpretation is when it's hip to hip over the top and you land in danger, that could be considered a 5-point move. It doesn't have to be the ones where the toes are scraping the sky that fit the definition of the rule.
So much time and effort, and look at the emotion on the face of Coleman Scott. Jeff, such a strange way for it to end.
Yeah, it
on
is.
The replay call.
Well, sometimes you get more than you want in that challenge.
What a wonderful moment for Coleman Scott.
And don't take anything away from Shawn Bunch. He was game in that fight. Just Coleman pulled that one out of the hat.
Let's go now down to Andrew.
All right, Coleman, take us through that dramatic ending.
I let it slip away in the second match, in the second period. I just went to attack and I had in my head, I don't know why, but getting a 5 to end the match. I've only ever gotten 1, and that's what I was thinking of earlier, and it happened. I had to do this to achieve my goal, being an Olympic champ, and not a better place to do it than Times Square in front of everybody, my family, my support group, my coaches. I just can't thank everybody enough.
This has been a long, dramatic journey. How would you describe your road to London?
I'm speechless right now. I'm a little emotional because it's been such a long journey, so much going on in my head. I got to achieve my goal, and that's being an Olympic champ and represent the USA in London.
Who's the first person you thought of when you won the match?
Just my little daughter. Missed her birthday yesterday, and this is for her.
You're going to London. You got a dramatic way to get there. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Coleman Scott.
What a thrilling moment for a guy that had been so close so many times. 4th at the 08 Olympic trials. He's been a runner-up at the U.S. Open, 3rd at the U.S. Open a couple of times, third at the World Team Trials 3 times. Now in 2012, what a year. He wins the Olympic trials, but that doesn't guarantee him a berth. He still has to come here, beat 2 other wrestlers to win the wrestle-off to get to London.
It was a tough road. He actually said it was such a long journey, and he displayed the emotion that comes pouring out when you put so much into a goal, work so hard to achieve it, don't know whether you are going to achieve it, and then you do accomplish. Congratulations, Coleman. Scott, be proud, man. That was a great performance.
If you've never seen the Olympic spirit, the look on his face when he realized his dreams, that says it all. Amazing story for Coleman Scott, and a great way to punctuate a great night of wrestling here at the Grapple in the Big Apple here in the Beat the Streets wrestling program.